Can a small 60-watt pocket light like the C60X from SIRUI be bright enough for shooting video? For the last 3 weeks, I've been using this light in all different conditions to really see how useful a 60-watt pocket light like this can be. After all, this thing is small enough to fit into your pocket and comes with an internal battery, so you can actually power this on no matter where you are. So I'll go over how this light performs both indoors and outdoors in bright and in dark conditions. This light was provided to me by SIRUI, but they had no say in this video, and in fact, I just really wanted to see how powerful a small light like this can actually be for filmmaking. Hi, my name is Bruno Pozo. I'm a commercial filmmaker here in Bend, Oregon, and I make weekly videos on filmmaking technique, gear reviews, and how to make money with your camera. If any of that interests you, hit that like and subscribe. Now, let's check out this light. For most creators looking for a small compact light, then this light is very attractive. This thing is super small and compact. It's no bigger than a camera body, and even its design sort of mimics that of a camera body with its handle on the side. It can fit on a tiny light stand without any issues, but the thing you want to be careful of is getting it knocked over, especially because of how light it is. Here's the light intensity at 10%, 25%, 50%, and 100%. For indoor use, you can see this thing is pretty darn bright, so you can really use this as a key light, an edge light, or even a practical or background light. I recommend using the diffusion cover that comes with the light if you are going to be shooting your subject and using it as a key light, because without it, the light is definitely too harsh and not flattering on your subject. And I would get a proper softbox for this, although that will definitely add to the bulk and size of this thing. And unfortunately, if you wanted to go that route, you do need to buy an extra adapter that adapts this to a proper Bowens mount. But I have found that using the diffusion cover makes the light plenty soft for actually shooting people. And because this light is bicolor, you can actually go from all the way warm at 2500 kelvins to cool at 6500 Kelvin. All right, but how does this thing actually perform when you go into the bright outdoors? Because this light has an internal battery that can be charged via USB-C, it makes it ideal for on-the-go shoots. They even provide a 100-watt fast charging cable with it, so you can charge this thing really quickly. If we shoot our subject with the sun as the key light, you can see even at 100% power, this thing is not really doing much and only really useful as a fill light or maybe an edge light. But once we move to the shade, it is powerful enough to be a key light. It isn't the most powerful, but it does lift your subject out from the shadows just to give them that extra pop from the background. Just know that if you are shooting with this light outside with a light stand, you may want some sort of sandbag, or at least be aware that it can very easily tip over even from the wind, because this thing doesn't weigh anything at all. And of course, that's not going to be an issue if you use the light handheld, which is what we like to do when we were capturing B-roll shots in the shade. So in this case, we tried to capture some B-roll of this flower. We can just crank this light, I believe it was around 50% here, and it illuminates the subject perfectly so we can get a nice exposure on our shot. The handheld grip of the light made this super easy to actually hold in our shot and actually track with the camera movement. And all of these shots were done with the diffusion cover on, but if you wanted more output, you technically could take the diffusion cover off and just use the provided like Fresnel or reflector dish that it comes with. But if you do decide to use the reflector dish, it wouldn't be good as a key light because the light will be way too bright and harsh on your subject. And so instead, I would use it as just a hair light, honestly. But what about the dark outdoors? Now, this is where I think the light really shines, no pun intended. And to really put this to the test, I did a sunset shoot with my friend, and we used the light in various conditions from right when the sunset was beginning all the way till the very end when it was more blue houry, and we used it more as a key light. And so when we were at the beginning of sunset, I was able to use this as a decent fill once again. It's not the strongest, but it actually was a very great hair and edge light. And this worked all the way from the beginning of the sunset to when the sunset actually left. And I was able to take full advantage of the light's color temperature to make it a lot warmer to match the sunset in the scene. Because we were shooting at sunset, I did want to play around with some of the effects that the light comes with. Every light that comes out now has a special effects that you can now play with. These special effects range from candles, fires, lasers, fireworks, flash photography, and more. For this sunset shoot, we wanted to mimic that she was at a fireplace, even though we didn't really have one. And so we just put the light in fire mode. I adjusted the frequency to a frequency that I liked, that wasn't too flickery. And then I sent the temperature to as warm as I could, and I had it at roughly 100%. And now we have this fake fireplace light that's illuminating my subject, making the scene a lot warmer and more fun. The other effects I really like are the fireworks, because you can put this height pretty high up, especially because it's handheld, and you can mimic someone looking up at fireworks. And then of course you have the flash photography, which is meant to more mimic like paparazzi, which is also another cool effect that you can take advantage of if you shoot something like fashion or other commercial work. All of these use cases, the light lasted the whole shoot at pretty much 50 to 100% power without any issues. Granted, I was turning it on and off when we were using it and when we weren't using it, but on the manual, it says it can last roughly about 45 minutes at 100% power. But of course, if you need to power the light outdoors, you can bring something like this V-mount battery like I brought, and with the USB-C cable, you can plug it in and you can actually use the light while it's charging. So is 60 watts bright enough for shooting videos? If for whatever reason you're going to be shooting in bright outdoor conditions, 60 watts is not going to be strong enough. It can help lift some shadows, it can help maybe provide a soft edge light to your subject, but it's definitely not going to be powerful enough to be a key light. Unless of course you're in the shade, but at that point you're pretty much in a darker setting, and so that's to be expected. But if you shoot anything indoors, then 60 watts is more than bright enough. I was able to use this light as a key light indoors, as an edge light, as a practical, pretty much any situation, this light is going to be strong enough indoors. And of course, once it gets dark out, 60 watts is definitely strong enough. But what do you think? Would you trust a small 60 watt pocket light like this for shooting your videos? If you liked this gear review, you can check out the full gear review playlist here. Thank you so much for watching all the way until the end. I appreciate every single one of you who do, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.